Serengeti, where every gust of wind carries the memory of life. The first light of day strikes the dry ground and cuts through a thin layer of red dust. The sun rises like a blade of fire and burns away the last mist of night. The temperature climbs from 64 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit in less than an hour. The northeast wind blows at 7 miles per hour, carrying the dry scent of soil and the last traces of moisture from the cracked earth over the pale grasslands. The air trembles in columns of rising heat. Every movement here is governed by energy. Light, heat, and wind form the first rhythm of the living cycle. When the first ray of sunlight touches the grass, photosynthesis begins. The leaves absorb nearly 90% of red and blue light, converting carbon dioxide into sugar and releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. Vast fields of panicum and thymeta grasses form the energetic foundation of the entire ecosystem. Herbivores absorb energy from these grasslands. Inside an antelope's stomach, microorganisms break down cellulose into volatile fatty acids, the main energy source for the body. Protein and minerals are stored in muscles, bones, and blood. This stored energy continues its transfer when the herbivores become prey for predators. Lions, cheetahs, and hyenas each fulfill a distinct role within the food chain. This is not a battle, but a regulated exchange of matter, repeated countless times each year. On this foundation unfolds the largest migration on Earth. About 1.3 million wildebeests, 250,000 zebras, and nearly 500,000 gazelles travel a circular route spanning more than 1,100 miles each year. They leave the southern plains when the dry season begins, cross the Mara River, and return with the first rains. Their average pace is 2 to 3 miles per hour, but the movement of millions creates a flowing river of life. Each step compacts the soil. Each bite maintains the balance of the vegetation layer. The interaction between grazing and movement regulates ecosystem regeneration. When the grass is abundant, herbivore populations expand. When food declines, predator numbers rise to restore balance. Lions hunt in coordinated groups across open areas with short grass. Their success rate averages only about 20%, but every hunt redistributes energy through the system. Hyenas follow from a distance, feeding on remains and failed hunts. This structure ensures that no energy is wasted. Fire, water, and wind sustain the natural equilibrium. When winds intensify, scent and sound travel farther, altering the detection range of predators and prey. When the grass grows tall, herbivores gain cover. When the land burns bare, predators gain advantage. Shifts in temperature and visibility define the limits of survival. No species holds absolute dominance. The cycle ends in decomposition. When an animal dies, vultures detect the carcass from miles away through ultraviolet vision and rising air currents. Within hours, hundreds gather, removing soft tissue and leaving a clean skeleton. Dung beetles scatter bone fragments, and soil microbes break down calcium and phosphate. During the dry season, microbial density decreases. In the wet season, it increases fivefold. Every component from insects to bacteria closes the nitrogen and carbon cycles. The Serengeti is not just a sea of grass. It is a living model of natural operation, where light becomes food, food becomes life, and death restores the beginning. Nothing in this circle is random. Only stable variables remain: light, heat, time, and adaptation. Each day, each season, the system repeats, steady, exact, and resilient enough to endure for millions of years. As the sun rises higher, the savanna becomes intensely bright. Strong sunlight reflects through layers of shimmering air. Humidity drops rapidly, and the temperature exceeds 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Small dust devils swirl across the plain, lifting sand and dry leaves while carrying the scent of sun-baked soil and grass. The source of energy begins with light. Chlorophyll in the grass absorbs photons, releases oxygen, and produces carbohydrates. Each square yard of grassland stores an average of about 1 pound of dry biomass every year. During the wet season, this productivity triples and forms the foundation for all biological systems above it. Grass converts solar energy into stable carbon chains that herbivores can absorb. Wildebeests, zebras, Thompson's gazelles, and buffalo each select different grass layers and feeding zones to reduce competition. Wildebeests graze on short grass, zebras on taller blades, and Thompson's gazelles prefer newly sprouted shoots. This separation optimizes food resources and prevents the grasslands from being overused in one direction. As millions of animals move, they trim and aerate the soil, stimulating new growth. Life in the Serengeti depends on the speed of energy transfer. Herbivores absorb energy from grass, but only about 10% passes to the next level of the food chain. The rest is lost through respiration, movement, and heat. This is why herbivore populations must remain vast to provide enough energy for predators. Lions, cheetahs, leopards, and hyenas maintain ecological balance. They control herbivore numbers and protect the grasslands from destruction. Each lion pride occupies a territory of about 100 square miles and usually hunts at dawn or dusk, when temperatures drop and winds shift. The cheetah relies on speed, reaching 60 to 65 miles per hour for short bursts of around 20 seconds. Hyenas operate in groups of 20 to 80 individuals, using coordinated movements and vocal signals to surround their prey. These behaviors do not aim for dominance, but regulate population density and maintain the efficiency of the ecosystem's energy flow. Above the plains, vultures and eagles scan from great heights. Each bird can survey a radius of up to 6 miles using ultraviolet vision to detect blood traces or organic gas molecules rising from carcasses. They not only remove remains, but also prevent the spread of pathogens within the system. By clearing excess biomass, they keep nitrogen and carbon cycles open and functional. Beneath the ground, another energy chain continues. As carcasses decay, dung beetles bury the remains. Their larvae feed on soft tissue and push nutrients deeper into the soil. Nitrifying bacteria convert ammonia into nitrate, providing essential nutrients for grass roots. The soil-plant-animal cycle remains closed, and no component is wasted. Rain returns by late October. The first drops hit the dry dust, seep through cracks, and awaken seeds that have lain dormant for months. Within 3 days, a green layer spreads across the plains. Herds of wildebeests begin their journey southward. At the same time, zebras, gazelles, and buffalo merge into a single migrating stream. This is a cyclic reaction to energy, the convergence of light, water, and minerals. Above, temperatures drop, humidity rises, and the air becomes saturated with pollen. Migratory birds from the north arrive on warm air currents. Every organism participates in energy transfer, either directly or indirectly. There is no true boundary between predator and prey, only the continuous circulation of energy through space and time. Life in the Serengeti persists not through power, but through the precision of material exchange. It is the equation of nature, constant, self-balancing, and exact within its limits. At the center of the Serengeti, the shadow of an acacia tree stretches across pale grass. The ground temperature reaches 108 degrees Fahrenheit. The air is dense and still, filled only with the hum of flies and the soft movement of wind around exposed granite rocks. This area is where lions, the apex predators, maintain the stability of the grassland ecosystem. A pride of adult lions usually includes 10 to 15 individuals. The group structure is stable, composed mainly of related adult females. Adult males defend territories averaging about 100 square miles, marked with scent and physical traces. Territories overlap slightly, and periodic conflicts occur to maintain population boundaries. No pride holds absolute dominance. Its survival depends on energy balance and adaptation to fluctuations in food availability. Lions are most active at night or early morning. When the temperature drops below 77 degrees Fahrenheit, their night vision allows them to detect prey more than 330 feet away. During a hunt, the pride moves in an arc formation, keeping 65 to 100 feet between individuals. Signals are transmitted through body posture and eye contact, rather than sound. One lion initiates a short burst of speed, while others block the prey's escape routes. The average success rate is about 20%. If the hunt fails, the pride rests for 24 to 36 hours to conserve energy before trying again. The acquired energy is distributed by age and role. Adult females feed first, followed by territorial males, then the cubs. An adult lion consumes about 13 to 15 pounds of meat per day in the dry season and less than 9 pounds in the wet season. A pride's total energy intake can reach 40,000 kilocalories per day. Leftovers attract hyenas, vultures, and other scavengers. This interaction ensures that no energy is wasted in the material cycle. In harsh environments, hunting behavior shifts with the seasons. During the wet season, prey disperses, and lion prides split into smaller groups to increase hunting opportunities. In the dry season, they gather near permanent water sources, where wildebeest and zebra densities can triple. Hunting strategy depends on reaction speed and wind direction. Chases rarely last longer than 30 seconds. Every factor, speed, distance, and movement, is determined by stored energy and terrain conditions. The presence of lions directly influences herbivore behavior. Predators also maintain balance among themselves. Lions and hyenas compete intensely in regions with year-round water. Hyenas can occasionally take carcasses due to their numbers and endurance. However, the loss rate for lions rarely exceeds 30% of total successful hunts. Each species stabilizes its population according to the energy available in the system. When food decreases, both species adjust their activity and range. This prevents the predation structure from exceeding the ecosystem's regenerative capacity. Lions breed year-round, but cub survival in the first year averages only 40%. Most females reach reproductive maturity at about 3 years of age, with a gestation period of roughly 110 days. Cubs rely entirely on milk for the first 3 months. By the 4th month, they follow their mothers to hunting areas and observe prey capture behavior. Learning occurs through observation and instinctive response, rather than emotional imitation. Pride survival depends on learning speed and environmental conditions. The prides move south, where prey species gather to breed. This movement aligns with the energy rhythm of the savanna. Herbivore populations regenerate, and predators adjust their density accordingly. The balance between birth and death continues through the precise repetition of seasonal cycles. Within this system, lions are not only apex predators, but also structural stabilizers of the ecosystem. They limit herbivore numbers, prevent overgrazing, and preserve energy balance and biodiversity. Every movement and every behavior of the pride results from biological pressure and the mathematics of energy. No action is driven by emotion. Each is an adaptive response to maintain equilibrium. In the northwestern Serengeti, the soil becomes darker and drier. Air temperatures exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and humidity drops below 25%. Dry winds sweep across the cracked ground, lifting fine dust into the air. Here, the spotted hyena is the dominant predator and scavenger, active both day and night. Spotted hyenas, Croquata crocata, live in social groups called clans, usually consisting of 20 to 80 individuals, depending on prey density. Each clan maintains a territory of about 25 to 45 square miles. Boundaries are marked with scent secretions from anal glands, which can persist for up to 2 weeks. Females occupy central roles in the social hierarchy. Rank is established through body signals, frequency of interaction, and lifespan. There is no single leader. The system functions through a stable hierarchy and reproductive order. Spotted hyenas can hunt alone or in groups. During group hunts, they maintain speeds of 25 to 30 miles per hour for several minutes, allowing long-distance pursuits that lions or cheetahs cannot sustain. Group hunting success rates range from 30 to 40%. Their prey includes wildebeests, zebras, and gazelles, though they also consume carcasses left by other predators. A hyena's jaw exerts a bite force of around 1100 psi, strong enough to crush large bones. This allows them to consume entire carcasses, including bone and marrow, which contain essential minerals and lipids. Sound is the primary form of communication for this species. The well-known laugh is actually a high-frequency signal that conveys information about location, rank, and reproductive status. An individual hyena can distinguish the calls of more than 20 other members in its clan. Low-frequency calls are used to summon others across distances of several miles. Acoustic coordination enables large groups to gather quickly, especially when competing with lions for carcasses. The relationship between hyenas and lions is one of parallel competition. Both species share the same food sources and territories. Around Lake Ndutu, studies show that hyenas reclaim about 25 to 30% of carcasses originally killed by lions. During the dry season, hyenas adjust their activity patterns to conserve energy. During the day, they rest in chalets or under trees, where the temperature remains around 80 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly 18 degrees cooler than the surface. At night, when temperatures fall, they move with the wind to detect the scent of carcasses. A hyena's sense of smell can detect volatile compounds at concentrations below 1 part per million. This ability allows them to locate food sources up to 6 to 7 miles away. Reproduction occurs year-round. Females have a gestation period of about 110 days and give birth to 1 to 3 cubs per litter. Cubs nurse for roughly 12 months, longer than most African carnivores. Dominant females have priority access to food and parental care. The survival rate of firstborn cubs is nearly double that of the secondborn, reflecting competition for energy even within a single litter. In arid conditions, hyenas display strong physiological adaptations. They can survive more than 7 days without drinking water by reabsorbing moisture in their kidneys and obtaining hydration from prey. Their body temperature remains stable at about 100.8 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing activity in conditions where most predators must withdraw. This endurance makes hyenas a key component in maintaining ecological function in dry environments. Their ecological role extends beyond predation. Hyenas process excess biomass, ensuring continuous decomposition and nutrient recycling. Their droppings contain high levels of calcium, which increases soil alkalinity around den sites. Many drought-tolerant plants grow well in this enriched soil, providing food for insects and small animals. This mutual chain is sustained through the presence of scavengers. The hyena is the balancing variable between decay and regeneration. It limits the spread of disease, maintains environmental cleanliness, and ensures the Serengeti's energy cycle remains unbroken. Beneath the heat and dust of the dry plains, the system continues to operate, precise, continuous, and synchronized with a climate rhythm that has repeated for thousands of years. After a prolonged dry season, the African landscape enters a stage of renewal. From deep cracks in the soil, the first shoots of grass emerge. Moisture rises from the last remaining puddles, carrying the scent of wet earth. This is the moment when the ecosystem begins to restart. In southern Africa, Kruger National Park in South Africa serves as a prime example of this process. Covering more than 7,300 square miles, Kruger connects grasslands, woodlands, and river systems. Each season, the distribution of water shapes the structure of the entire ecosystem. When the rains return, the Sabi and Crocodile rivers expand, filling shallow depressions. Nitrogen levels in the water increase as rainfall washes nutrients from the dry ground. Aquatic plants grow rapidly, forming the base of the food web for fish, water birds, and amphibians. This regeneration process begins within 2 weeks after the first rainfall. African elephants play a central role in the recovery cycle. Each adult consumes about 330 pounds of vegetation per day. As they move, they break forest canopies and open pathways for sunlight to reach lower grass layers. Their feeding and movement redistribute organic matter and minerals. Elephant dung contains seeds from more than 50 plant species, and about 30% of young trees in Kruger are believed to germinate from this dispersal. Elephants act as ecological engineers, reshaping the landscape through natural digestion, rather than tools. Buffalo serve as the second major regulator. They move in large herds of hundreds, grazing evenly and fertilizing the soil with fresh dung. This collective behavior maintains grass height at an average of 8 to 12 inches, an optimal range for insects and seed-eating birds. Through buffalo activity, grasslands remain stable and do not shift completely into shrubland, preserving the balance between grassland and open forest. In the northwest, Botswana's Okavango system operates on an opposite cycle. The Okavango River originates from the highlands of Angola, flowing inland and spreading across a vast delta. Each year, about 2.6 cubic miles of floodwater disperse across a floodplain of roughly 5,800 square miles, forming one of the largest inland wetlands on Earth. The water flows inward without an outlet to the sea, maintaining equilibrium between evaporation, seepage, and biological regeneration. Fish, amphibians, insects, birds, and herbivores all depend on this flood rhythm. When the water recedes, the nutrient-rich silt left behind nourishes new grass, beginning the next life cycle. The African sky begins to change color. Dense clouds gather from the east, charged with electricity across thousands of feet of dry air. The first flash of lightning cuts across the horizon, and thunder marks the beginning of a new cycle. Rain falls, not as a brief storm, but as a steady downpour lasting for hours. Raindrops penetrate the cracked soil, awakening microbial networks that have been dormant through the dry season. Within 24 hours, soil moisture levels triple. Carbon dioxide from microbial respiration increases by 60%, initiating the soil respiration phase, the first step of regeneration. The once hardened ground becomes porous, allowing water to reach root zones 6 to 10 feet deep, triggering millions of waiting seeds. The first blades of grass emerge after only 36 hours. Grass species in the Poaceae family, such as Themeta, Panicum, and Sporobolus, thrive due to their C4 photosynthetic pathway, a biological mechanism that allows efficient carbon absorption under intense sunlight. Within a week, the dry plains transform into a continuous green expanse. This new grass layer acts as a stabilizing mesh, preventing erosion, retaining moisture, and supporting the growth of symbiotic fungi and microorganisms. It becomes the foundation layer for the entire biological cycle. At the same time, eggs and larvae lying dormant underground begin to hatch. Locusts, beetles, winged ants, mosquitoes, and hundreds of other insect species emerge almost simultaneously. The reproductive rate is so high that insect density can increase up to 100-fold within days. They form the first surge of biological energy in the new season, converting inorganic matter into living biomass. This creates food sources for small herbivores, birds, and amphibians. Temporary pools on the savanna become centers of biological activity. Frogs and toads reproduce quickly before the water evaporates. Their eggs hatch within 48 hours, tadpoles develop in a few days, and complete their life cycle within 2 weeks. This response represents evolutionary precision, refined over thousands of generations, an optimized mechanism to exploit the short window of the wet season. Across the plains, large herbivores return to graze. Thomson's gazelles, zebras, and wildebeests move with the rain. Their migration spans over 500 miles, crossing Kenya, Tanzania, and reaching the edge of the Serengeti. They follow the rainfall zones to reach fresh, protein-rich grass and available water. Through continuous movement, nutrients are redistributed across the ecosystem. Every step, every graze, and every trace of dung contributes to the nutrient cycle. Predators also resume activity. Lions, leopards, hyenas, and cheetahs adjust their hunting ranges according to prey density. The surge of herbivore populations provides abundant energy for the food web. The trophic chain expands, and the ecosystem reaches its annual peak in productivity. Despite constant interactions and competition, the balance remains stable. Each species maintains its ecological role, keeping population density within natural limits. In the humid air, vegetation bursts into bloom. More than 300 species of wildflowers emerge across the grasslands, attracting pollinators, especially bees and butterflies. Honeybee populations rise sharply, connecting plant clusters and enhancing seed dispersal. Meanwhile, birds such as canaries, red bishops, herons, and storks begin their breeding season. Average temperatures drop to around 82 degrees Fahrenheit, while humidity rises, creating ideal conditions for incubation and chick rearing. On a broader scale, the combined energy of sunlight, water, and living organisms reaches its annual maximum. Satellite data show that Serengeti's NDVI the normalized difference vegetation index increases by more than 0.3 compared to the dry season, reflecting the highest chlorophyll levels and biological productivity of the year. At this stage, the ecosystem achieves full resonance. Water, soil, air, and living organisms interact in precise harmony. No element exceeds its natural threshold. Rain delivers energy, the soil absorbs it, plants store it, animals distribute it, and microorganisms return it to the cycle. Together, they form the rhythm of rebirth, a chain of natural reactions that sustains life through millions of years of evolution. When the rain subsides and sunlight returns, grass has grown tall, offspring have matured, and the land has replenished its energy. The dry season will come again, but it will no longer mark an ending. It is simply the next movement in the perpetual rhythm, where life, shaped by climate and time, maintains the equilibrium of the planet. From above, the African Savannah unfolds like a map of living energy. Dry riverbeds, red dust trails, and green grasslands form the image of a self-regulating system where no element exists in isolation. Every drop of water, every organism, and every grain of soil is a link in the continuous chain of energy and matter. For millions of years, this continent has cycled through endless phases of heat and cold, wet and dry. From the Sahara to the Okavango, from the Kenyan highlands to the mangrove forests of Mozambique, the law remains unchanged. Solar energy transforms into life, and life returns that energy to the planet. Rain meets sunlight, triggering the first biological reactions of each cycle. An ecosystem is never static. It oscillates around a point of equilibrium, like the heartbeat of the planet. In dry years, the system contracts. In wet seasons, it expands. This is not collapse, but nature's way of absorbing climate variation and sustaining life through evolution. Across this land, every organism leaves traces of energy. Elephants clear paths that allow trees to grow. Crocodiles preserve water in river channels. Insects break down organic matter, and their remains become nutrients for the next generation of grass. No action is meaningless. Every process feeds back into the energy cycle. Humans are also part of this system. But in recent centuries, artificial rhythms have exceeded natural limits, disrupting the balance. Yet in Serengeti, Kruger, and Okavango, where human presence has withdrawn, nature demonstrates its ability to recover. Vegetation cover increases, elephant and buffalo populations stabilize, and groundwater becomes balanced again. This is not a miracle, it is the science of patience. The system only requires time and space to function on its own once more. As night falls over the Serengeti, the sounds of insects and wind merge into a familiar rhythm. There is no true beginning or end, only the continuous flow of energy through time. Every raindrop, every speck of dust, every living being contributes to the shared rhythm of the planet, the rhythm of life, where energy never disappears, but transforms to endure.